The morning sun rose over the human colony of Aurora 7. It was a small settlement on the edge of the galaxy. Here, 300 humans lived a simple life. They grew crops, raised animals, and traded with nearby alien worlds. Maya Chin was 16 years old. She had long black hair and bright brown eyes. Every morning, she helped her father in the farming fields. Today was no different. She walked between rows of golden wheat, checking each plant with care. "Maya, come help us," her friend Sarah called from the storage building. Maya smiled and ran over. She was always ready to help others. That was her nature, kind, gentle, and full of hope. The colony was peaceful, too peaceful. Humans had been in the galaxy for 200 years now. They never fought anyone. They never caused trouble. Other alien races saw them as weak farmers and merchants. Nothing more. "Maya, do you think the Velcrons will come again this month?" Sarah asked with worry in her voice. The Velcrons were a powerful warrior race. They had blue skin, sharp teeth, and stood 8 feet tall. They controlled 50 star systems. Every month, they came to small colonies like Aurora 7 and demanded payment. Food, supplies, or money. It was protection money, they said, but everyone knew it was just bullying. "I hope not," Maya said softly. "We already paid them 2 weeks ago." But hope was not enough. At noon, the sky turned dark. 3 massive Velcron warships appeared above the colony. They were black and red, covered in weapons. The ships landed in the center of the settlement with a loud boom. The ground shook. Maya's father, David Chun, ran toward her. "Maya, get inside. Now!" But it was too late. The Velcron captain walked out of his ship. He was huge, wearing heavy armor. Behind him, 20 Velcron warriors followed. Each one carried plasma rifles. All the colonists gathered in the square. They were afraid, but they came. They had no choice. "Humans!" the Velcron captain shouted. His voice was like thunder. "I am Captain Vex. You owe us tribute." David stepped forward. He was a colony leader. His hands shook, but he stood tall. "Captain Vex, we already paid you this month. We gave you 50 tons of wheat and medical supplies." Vex laughed. It was a cruel sound. "That was last month's payment. This is a new month. We want more." But we have nothing left," David said. "We need food for our children." Vex's eyes turned cold. "Then you should work harder." The other colonists were silent. What could they do? The Velcrons had weapons and warships. Humans had nothing. Maya couldn't stay quiet. She stepped forward, her heart beating fast. "Please, Captain Vex, we are peaceful people. We have families here. Children, can you give us more time?" Vex looked down at her. For a moment, everyone held their breath. Then he smiled. A brave little human. How cute. He pulled out his plasma pistol and shot her in the chest. Maya fell to the ground. The world seemed to stop. Her father screamed and ran to her. Sarah cried out. Other colonists rushed forward. But Maya was already gone. Her eyes stared at the sky, empty and still. Vex laughed again. "Let this be a lesson. Never question the Velcrons." He turned to his warriors. "Take their remaining supplies. All of it." The Velcron warriors moved through the colony, taking everything they wanted. The humans could only watch. They cried, but they could not fight. After an hour, the Velcrons left. Their ships rose into the sky and disappeared. David held his daughter's body. Tears ran down his face. Around him, the whole colony mourned. That night, David went to the communication center. His hand still shook. He typed a message to Earth. It was simple. "Colony Aurora 7 reporting. Velcron attack. They killed my daughter. Maya Chun, age 16. Innocent. Please respond." He sent the message and waited. 3 hours later, a response came. It was only 2 words. Protocol Omega. David stared at the screen. He didn't know what those words meant. No one in the colony knew. But somewhere, deep in space, something ancient was waking up. Something the galaxy had forgotten. Something that had been sleeping for 200 years. waiting for this exact moment. The human armada was coming, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Captain Vex returned his flagship like a hero. His warriors cheered as he entered the command deck. They had collected supplies from 5 human colonies that week. It was good profit. Commander Drask. Vex called out, "I have news that will make you laugh." Commander Drask was the leader of the Velcran battle fleet. He was older than Vex, with scars covering his blue face. "What happened?" "I killed a human girl today," Vex said proudly. "She dared to question me, so I shot her in front of everyone." Drask smiled. "And what did the other humans do?" "Nothing. They just cried like babies." Humans are the weakest species in the galaxy. The other Velcran warriors laughed. They had fought many wars. They had defeated powerful empires. Humans were nothing to them, just weak farmers who grew food and traded goods. "Good work, Vex," Drask said. "Continue collecting tribute. The humans will learn to obey." News of Maya's death spread across the galaxy fast. Every alien race heard the story, and most of them laughed. On the planet Zephyros, the bird-like Zephron merchants discussed it in their markets. "Did you hear? The Velcrons killed a human girl." "So what? Humans never fight back. They are too soft." "Maybe they will complain to the Galactic Council." "And then what?" "The Council will do nothing. They never do." On the water world of Aquaria, the fish-like Aquarians gossiped in their underwater cities. Poor humans, always getting bullied. If they were stronger, this would not happen. They should build weapons, build armies. But they won't. Humans only care about peace and trade. At the Galactic Council headquarters, an emergency meeting was called. 50 different alien races gathered. The council existed to keep peace in the galaxy, but in reality, they only protected the strong. Ambassador Thex, a tall reptilian alien, spoke first. "We have received a complaint from human colony Aurora 7. They say the Velcrons killed an innocent girl." Several council members laughed. "What do they want us to do?" asked a council member. "Punish the Velcrons? Impossible. The Velcrons are too powerful." "Exactly," Thex agreed. "Besides, humans are weak. They have no military, no weapons. Why should we risk war with the Velcrons for them?" But in the back of the room, one old alien sat quietly. His name was Elder Morith. He was from a race called the Historians. His people studied all civilizations in the galaxy. Elder Morith raised his hand slowly. "May I speak?" "Yes, Elder," Thex said with little interest. "Do any of you know human history?" Morith asked. His voice was soft but serious. The room went quiet for a moment. Then someone laughed. "Human history? They are farmers. What history do they have?" Morith shook his head. "Before humans came to the galaxy 200 years ago, they lived alone on their planet Earth. Do you know what they did there?" No one answered. "They fought wars," Morith continued. "Terrible wars. For thousands of years. They invented weapons that could destroy their entire planet. They nearly killed themselves several times." "So what?" Thex said. "They gave up war when they joined us. They chose peace." "Yes," Morris said slowly. "But I wonder, did they truly give up war? Or did they simply hide it?" Everyone stared at him. What did he mean? "I have studied humans," Morith explained. "They have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. It means be polite, but be ready to fight if needed. You think humans have weapons hidden somewhere?" Thex laughed. "Impossible. We would know." Morris said nothing more. He had warned them, but no one listened. They never did. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, something strange was happening. Human colonies everywhere began to change. On planet Novice, human merchants started closing their shops. "Why are you leaving?" asked their alien customers. "We are going home," the merchants replied. "Back to Earth." On planet Centauri, human diplomats packed their belongings and left the alien embassy. "Where are you going?" the alien officials asked. "We've been called home," the diplomats said quietly. On space station Helios, human trading ships stopped coming. The station master was confused. "Where are all the human ships?" he asked his assistant. "I don't know, sir. They just disappeared." This happened on 50 different worlds, 70 space stations, 100 trading posts. Every human in the galaxy was going home, back to Earth, back to human space. The aliens were confused. Some were worried. Why are the humans leaving? Maybe they're afraid of the Velcrons, or maybe they're planning something. But most aliens didn't care. They thought humans were running away like cowards. 3 days passed. The galaxy continued as normal. The Velcrons attacked another human colony and took their supplies. Still, there was no response from Earth. No protest. No complaint. Nothing. Alien news networks reported the story. It has been 3 days since the Velcrons killed a human girl named Maya Chen. Earth has remained silent. It seems humans are too afraid to fight back. This proves once again that humans are the weakest race in the galaxy. But the news reporters were wrong. Earth was not silent. Earth was preparing. And in the deepest part of space, far from any star or planet, something massive was moving. Thousands of ships. All human. All armed. All waiting for orders. The secret fleet had awakened. And now it was coming. Captain Xylox was having a boring day. He commanded a small Phyrexian exploration ship called the Wanderer. His job was to map unexplored regions of deep space. It was lonely work. Boring work. Nothing ever happened out here. "Captain, our long-range sensors are picking up something," his science officer said. Xylox yawned. "Probably just an asteroid field. Mark it on the map." "No, sir. These readings are strange. They show metal. Lots of metal." Now Xylox was interested. "Metal? Out here? Maybe it's an old wreck. Could be valuable. Set course to investigate." The Wanderer moved to the darkness of deep space. There were no stars nearby. No planets. Just empty black space. This region was called the Void. No one ever came here. There was nothing to see. But the sensors kept beeping. The readings got stronger. "Captain," the science officer shouted, "I'm detecting multiple contacts. Hundreds of them. No, thousands." "What?" Xylox jumped from his chair. "That's impossible." "Show me." The main screen activated. What they saw made everyone freeze. Ships. Massive warships. Everywhere. They stretched across space like a metal ocean. Battleships larger than cities. Carriers that could hold 1,000 smaller craft. Destroyers. Cruisers. Frigates. All painted in black and silver colors. "How many?" Xylox whispered, scanning. "Captain, I count over 5,000 warships." The bridge went silent. 5,000 warships? That was more than the entire Velcron fleet. More than any empire in the galaxy. "Whose ships are these?" Xylox asked. "Velcron? Zephyron? Some unknown empire?" The science officer checked his computer. His face went pale. "Sir, the identification codes say they are human ships." "What?" Xylox couldn't believe it. "Impossible. Humans don't have warships. They only have trading vessels." "I'm reading the data 3 times, sir. These are definitely human ships. All of them." Xylox stared at the screen. His mind raced. How? When? Why? Humans were peaceful. Everyone knew that. They had been in the galaxy for 200 years and never showed any military force. "Sir, the ships are powering up," the science officer warned. On the screen, the human ships began to wake. Lights appeared along their hulls. Engines glowed bright blue. Weapon systems activated. Energy shields formed around each vessel. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Get us out of here." Xylox ordered. "Maximum speed. Send an emergency message to Phyrexian Command. Tell them everything." The Wanderer turned and fled. Behind them, the human armada continued to wake up, like a sleeping giant opening its eyes after a long sleep. Inside the flagship of the human fleet, Admiral Sarachin stood on the bridge. She was 60 years old with short gray hair and dark eyes. Her uniform was black with silver stars on the shoulders. She had been in command of this fleet for 20 years. Around her, hundreds of officers worked at their stations. The bridge was massive. Screens showed status reports from all 5,000 ships. Everything was ready. Admiral, all ships report ready for departure, her second-in-command said. His name was Captain James Miller. Good, Admiral Chen said quietly. She walked to the main window and looked out at the fleet. Her fleet, the fleet she had commanded in secret for so long. She pressed a button. Her voice broadcast to every ship in the Armada. Attention, all vessels. This is Admiral Chen. For 200 years, we have waited here in silence, hidden in the void, away from the galaxy. We built this fleet in secret, hoping we would never need to use it. On 5,000 ships, human crew members listened. Some were young, some were old. All of them had volunteered for this duty, to live in secret, to wait in darkness, to be ready if humanity ever needed them. Our ancestors came to the galaxy with hope, Admiral Chen continued. They wanted peace. They wanted friendship. They chose to put away the weapons. They chose to be traders and farmers instead of warriors. She paused. Her eyes were hard now. But the galaxy forgot something important. We chose peace. We were not forced into it. We were not weak. We simply decided that war was not the answer. Her voice grew stronger. 3 days ago, the Velcrons killed a 16-year-old girl named Maya-chan. She was my granddaughter. She was innocent. She was kind. She only wanted to help people. Around the fleet, crew members felt anger rising in their hearts. They all knew the story. They had all seen the reports. The Velcrons thought we were weak because we chose peace. They confused our kindness with weakness. They forgot that humans know we're better than any species in this galaxy. Admiral Chen's hand formed a fist. Today, we remind them. Today, we show the galaxy who we really are. We are not just farmers. We are not just merchants. We are humans. And when you hurt our children, you wake something ancient, something dangerous. She turned to Captain Miller. Set course for Velcron space. Maximum speed. It's time to bring our people home. Yes, Admiral. Miller saluted. Across the fleet, 5,000 ships turned as one. Their engines burned bright blue. And then they moved, together, like a massive wave of metal and fire. The human armada was no longer hidden, no longer waiting, no longer hoping for peace. Now, they were coming for war. In the Galactic Council chambers, alarms started ringing. Emergency reports came from all directions. Sir, the Threxian exploration ship just sent an urgent message. What does it say? They found a human fleet, thousands of warships, all heading toward Velcron space. The council chamber exploded with noise. Everyone was shouting. A human fleet? Where did it come from? How long has it been there? Why didn't we know about this? In the back of the room, Elder Morris stood up slowly. He didn't say anything. He just nodded, as if he had expected this all along. On the Velcron flagship, Commander Drask received the same report. At first, he laughed. A human fleet? Let them come. We will crush them. But his intelligence officer looked worried. Sir, the reports say there are over 5,000 human warships, and they are large, very large. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every alien race heard the same terrifying message. The humans have a secret armada, and it's heading toward Velcron space. On the Velcron homeworld, High Command held an emergency meeting. 10 generals sat around a large metal table. At the head sat Supreme Commander Drask. He was the highest military leader of the Velcron Empire. Show me the reports again, Drask demanded. A hologram appeared above the table. It showed the human fleet moving through space. 5,000 warships. All massive, all armed. The sight made even these hardened warriors feel uneasy. Where did they get these ships? One general asked. We don't know, another replied. Intelligence says humans have been building them in secret for 200 years. 200 years? Drask stood up. How do we not know? Where were our spies? Sir, we never spied on humans. We thought they were harmless. just farmers and traders. Drask slammed his fist on the table. Fools. All of us. We underestimated them. What do we do, Supreme Commander? A young general asked. Drask thought for a moment. His pride told him to fight. The Velkrons had never backed down from anyone. They were warriors. They feared nothing. Send 3 battle groups, Drask ordered. 150 warships. That should be enough to stop them. Sir, the humans have 5,000 ships. Should we send more? No. Drask shouted. I will not show fear. 150 ships will crush them. The humans have never fought a real battle. They don't know war like we do. But Drask was wrong. Humans knew war very well. Better than anyone. Admiral Krax commanded the Velkran battle fleet. He was a decorated warrior with 50 years of experience. He had fought in 20 wars and won them all. When he received his orders, he smiled. Finally, some action, he said to his crew. I was getting bored attacking weak colonies. Now we get to fight a real battle. His fleet moved to intercept the humans. 150 Velkran warships. Each one was powerful. Each one was dangerous. They had plasma cannons, missile launchers, and heavy armor. Sir, we're approaching the human fleet, his tactical officer reported. Good. Show me their formation. The screen showed the human ships. But something was strange. The humans only sent 50 ships forward. The rest stayed back. Krax laughed. 50 ships against 150? Are they insane? Or just stupid? Maybe they're scared, sir. Maybe they want to negotiate. Negotiate? Krax grinned. The time for talking is over. Prepare all weapons. Today, we teach the humans a lesson they will never forget. The 2 fleets faced each other in empty space. Velkran ships formed an attack formation. Human ships simply waited. They didn't move. They just floated there, silent and still. Krax opened a communication channel. His face appeared on screens across both fleets. Attention, human ships. I am Admiral Krax of the Velkran Empire. You have entered our territory. Surrender now or we will destroy you. For a moment, there was silence. Then a reply came. A woman's voice. Calm, cold. This is Admiral Sarah Chun of the Earth Defense Fleet. You killed my granddaughter. Her name was Maya. She was 16 years old. She was innocent. Krax's smile faded a little. He didn't like her tone. Your granddaughter? He said. So this is about revenge? How emotional. How weak. No, Admiral Chun replied. This is about consequences. You thought we were weak because we chose peace. You confused our kindness with weakness. Today, you learn the difference. Krax felt anger rising. Bold words for someone who is outnumbered. I will give you one last chance. Surrender or die. Admiral Chen's response was simple. You killed a child. There will be no surrender. No negotiation. No mercy. Only justice. Then she said one word. Just one word that changed everything. Fire. The human ships erupted with light. Weapons that the galaxy had never seen before unleashed their power. Rail guns fired metal slugs at incredible speed. Plasma cannons released beams of pure energy. Quantum torpedoes bent space itself as they flew. The Velkran shields absorbed the first wave. Krax laughed. Is that all they have? Return fire. Destroy them. The Velkran ships fired back. Hundreds of missiles and plasma bolts flew toward the human ships. The space between the 2 fleets lit up like a fireworks show. But something was wrong. The human shields didn't break. They didn't even flicker. The Velkran weapons hit the shields and simply disappeared, like throwing stones at a mountain. What? Krax stared in disbelief. That's impossible. Our weapons should have damaged them. Sir, their shield technology is beyond anything we've seen, his science officer shouted. Then fire again. More power. The Velkrons fired everything they had. Missiles, plasma cannons, laser batteries, everything. The human shields glowed bright, but held firm. And then the humans fired again. This time they aimed carefully, precisely. One by one, Velkran ships began to explode. The human weapons cut through their shields like paper. Each shot found its target. Each shot destroyed a ship. Evasive maneuvers. Crack screamed. All ships scatter. But it didn't matter. The human weapons were too accurate, too powerful, too advanced. In space, there was nowhere to hide. Within 10 minutes, 50 Velcrin ships were destroyed. Within 20 minutes, 100 ships were gone. The survivors tried to run, but the human ships moved faster. Admiral Krax watched his fleet die. Ships he had commanded for years. Crews he had trained. All gone. All burning. All dead. His own ship shook as human weapons hit it. Shields failing. Hull breaching. Fires spreading. "Sir, we have to abandon ship," his second officer yelled. But Krax just stood there, staring at the screen, at the human ships. They hadn't moved. They just floated there, shooting with perfect accuracy, like they were practicing, like this wasn't even a real fight for them. "How?" he whispered. "How are they so strong?" His ship exploded. Admiral Krax died never knowing the answer. The humans had learned from thousands of years of war on Earth. They had perfected the art of killing, and then they had hidden it, buried it, hoping never to use it again. But now it was unleashed. Not a single human ship was damaged. 50 human warships had destroyed 150 Velcrin ships, and they had barely tried. On the flagship, Admiral Chin watched the battle end. She felt no joy, no satisfaction, only sadness. Sadness that it had come to this. "Admiral, enemy fleet destroyed," Captain Miller reported. "Casualties on our side?" "None, Admiral." Chin nodded. "Send a message to the remaining Velcrin forces. Tell them we are coming to their home world. Tell them to prepare." Across the galaxy, everyone watched. News networks showed the battle footage. The Galactic Council saw everything. Every alien race witnessed what happened. The humans had won. Easily. Perfectly. Completely. And now, everyone understood the terrible truth. Humans weren't weak. They never were. They had simply chosen peace. But when their children died, that choice ended. Elder Morris sat in his chamber, watching the reports. He shook his head slowly. "I tried to warn them," he said to himself. "I told them about human history. But no one listened." On the Velcrin homeworld, Supreme Commander Drask received news of the defeat. His face went pale. "All ships destroyed? All of them?" "Yes, sir," in less than 30 minutes. Drask sat down heavily. For the first time in his life, he felt true fear. The humans were coming, and his empire had no way to stop them. "Mobilize everything," he ordered quietly. "Every ship, every soldier, every weapon. If we're going to die, we die fighting." But deep inside, he knew the truth. The Velcrin Empire was doomed. They had awakened something ancient, something terrible, something that should have stayed asleep. They had awakened humanity's rage. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. 50 different alien species were shouting at once. Everyone was afraid. Everyone had questions. How did we not know about this human fleet? They've been hiding it for 200 years. What else are they hiding? Ambassador Thex tried to restore order. "Silence. Everyone, please. We need to stay calm." But no one was calm. They had all seen the battle footage. 150 Velcrin warships destroyed in 30 minutes. The humans hadn't even lost one ship. It was a massacre. Elder Morris stood up slowly. This time, everyone listened to him. "I tried to warn you," he said quietly. "I told you about human history. But you laughed. You called them weak." "But, Elder," Thex said nervously, "where do they get such advanced weapons? Such powerful shields?" "They built them," Morris replied. "For 200 years, while they smiled and traded with us, they were building a secret fleet. They were preparing for war, just in case." "But why?" Another council member asked. If they had this power, why didn't they use it before? Why let the Velcrons bully them? Morith looked at him. Because they truly wanted peace. They hoped they would never need these weapons. But now someone killed their child. And humans have a saying. You can hurt them and they will forgive. But if you hurt their children, They will never stop until justice is done. The council chamber went silent. Everyone understood now. The humans were not coming to conquer. They were coming for revenge. What do we do? Thex asked. Do we help the Velcrons? Help them? Moritz shook his head. No one will help them. Everyone is too afraid. The Velcrons are alone now. And he was right. On the Velcron home world, Supreme Commander Drask stood in the war room. Around him, his remaining generals prepared for the final battle. They had mobilized everything. Every ship in the Empire. 2,000 warships now surrounded their home planet. It was their entire military. Everything they had. The orbital defense platforms are online, one general reported. We have 500 stations armed and ready. Good, Drask said. What about ground forces? 10 million soldiers are ready to defend the cities if the humans land. Drask nodded, but his heart was heavy. He knew it wouldn't be enough. He had seen what human weapons could do, but he was Velcron. He would not surrender. He would not run. He would fight until the end. Sir, the Velcron Emperor is sending you a message, his communication officer said. The Emperor's face appeared on the screen. He looked old and tired. Commander Drask, is there any hope? Your Majesty, we will fight with everything we have. But I must be honest. I don't know if we can win. The Emperor closed his eyes. I see. I have sent messages to other empires. To the Zephrons. To the Aquarians. To the Threxians. I asked for help. And Drask asked, though he already knew the answer. No one responded. They're all afraid of the humans now. Drask felt anger. The Velcron Empire had allies, trade partners, friends. But now, when they needed help, everyone abandoned them. Then we fight alone, Drask said firmly, as we always have. The Emperor nodded. May our ancestors watch over us. Good luck, Commander. The screen went dark. Drask turned to his officers. Prepare for battle. The humans will arrive soon. In deep space, the human armada moved forward like a dark storm. 5,000 warships traveled together. Their engines glowed blue against the blackness. On the flagship, Admiral Chin stood on the bridge. She had not slept in 2 days. But she didn't need sleep. Not yet. Not until this was finished. Admiral, we're approaching Velcron Prime, Captain Miller reported. We'll arrive in 1 hour. Good. Where are the enemy forces? Scanners showed 2,000 Velcron warships surrounding the planet, plus 500 orbital defense platforms. It's their entire military. Admiral Chin looked at the tactical display. 2,000 ships. It was a lot, but she knew her fleet was stronger. The human ships had better weapons, better shields, better everything. Open a channel to all ships, she ordered. I want to address the fleet. Channel open, Admiral. Chen's face appeared on screens across the entire armada. Thousands of crew members watched and listened. This is Admiral Chun. In 1 hour, we will reach the Velcron home world. This will be the largest battle our fleet has ever fought. Some of you might be afraid. That's okay. Fear is natural. She paused, choosing her words carefully. But remember why we are here. Remember Maya Chun. Remember all the humans who died at Velcron hands. They thought we were weak. They thought they could kill us without consequences. Today, we proved them wrong. Her voice grew stronger. We didn't want this war. We chose peace for 200 years. But the Velcrons made their choice when they killed an innocent girl. Now we make ours. We fight, not for conquest, not for glory, but for justice, for our children, for every human who suffered because others thought we were weak. Across the fleet, crew members felt determination rising in their hearts. They were ready. All ships prepare for battle. Chin ordered, may we fight with honor. May we protect the innocent. And may we never forget what we fight for. The human fleet arrived at Velcron Prime exactly 1 hour later. The planet was large and red, with 3 moons orbiting around it. Surrounding it was the largest Velcron military force ever assembled. Supreme Commander Drask watched the human fleet appear on his sensors. His hands gripped the command console tightly. So many ships, he whispered. I've never seen such a fleet. Sir, should we hail them? His communication officer asked. No, they came here for war, not words. All ships, prepare to fire on my command. But before he could give the order, a message came through. It was Admiral Chun. Her face appeared on every Velcrin screen, on every ship, on every defense platform. Even on the planet below, civilians saw her face. People of the Velcrin Empire, she said. Her voice was calm but firm. I am Admiral Sarah Chun. 3 days ago, your warriors killed my granddaughter. Her name was Maya. She was 16 years old. She was kind, gentle, and innocent. She never hurt anyone. On the planet below, Velcrin civilians watched. Some felt shame. They remembered the reports. They knew what their warriors had done to weak colonies. Your leaders thought we were weak because we chose peace, Chin continued. They confused our kindness with weakness. They forgot that humans have fought wars for thousands of years. We know we're better than any species in this galaxy. We simply chose not to use that knowledge. Drask felt sweat on his face. She was right. They had made a terrible mistake. Today, you face the consequences of your actions, Chin said. My fleet surrounds your world. We have weapons that can destroy every ship you have. We can break your defenses. We can burn your cities. We have that power. Fear spread through the Velcrin forces. Soldiers looked at each other nervously. Even their commanders felt afraid. But Chen continued, we are not monsters. We did not come here to commit genocide. We came here for justice. She leaned forward, her eyes hard. You have one choice. Surrender now and accept our terms, or fight and face complete destruction. You have 1 hour to decide. The transmission ended. Silence fell over the Velcrin fleet. Drask stood there, breathing heavily. 1 hour. 1 hour to decide the fate of his entire civilization. He looked at his officers. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to surrender. They were all waiting for his decision. Sir, one general said quietly, if we fight, we die. All of us. The humans have proven they are stronger. But if we surrender, another said, we lose our honor. The Velcrin Empire will be destroyed anyway. Drask closed his eyes. He thought about his people, his soldiers, the civilians on the planet below, children, families, innocent people who would die if he chose wrong. He thought about Maya Chun, the girl they killed. She was innocent too, and they had killed her without mercy. Now, the humans stood at their door with the power to do the same, but they offered a choice, something the Velcrons never gave to their victims. Drask made his decision. Contact the human admiral, he said quietly. Tell her we surrender. The message reached Admiral Chen's flagship within minutes. The Velcrons were surrendering. Supreme Commander Drask himself sent the communication. Admiral Chun, this is Commander Drask. On behalf of the Velcrin Empire, we accept your terms. We surrender. On the bridge, Captain Miller looked at Admiral Chun. What are your orders, Admiral? Chun stood silently for a moment. She looked at the planet below. Millions of Velcrons lived there. Families, children, innocent people who had nothing to do with Maya's death. Send a response, she said. Tell them to power down their weapons. All ships, all defense platforms. If even one weapon fires, we will consider an act of war. Yes, Admiral. Within an hour, every Velcrin weapon was offline. 2,000 warships sat in space, dark and silent. The orbital platforms powered down. It was over. Admiral Chin prepared for the most important speech of her life. She opened a transmission not just to the Velcrons, but to the entire galaxy. Every alien race, every planet, every space station. Everyone would hear this. Her face appeared on billions of screens across thousands of worlds. People of the galaxy, she began. I am Admiral Sarah Chun of the Earth Defense Fleet. Today, the Velcrin Empire surrendered to humanity. This war is over. Across the galaxy, aliens watched in shock. The mighty Velcrin Empire had fallen in just 3 days. For 200 years, humans lived among you peacefully, Jin continued. We traded with you, We worked with you. We chose peace because we believed it was a right path. We built this fleet in secret, not because we wanted war, but because we understood that peace must be protected." She paused, her voice growing softer. 3 days ago, Velcrin warriors killed a girl named Maya Chun. She was my granddaughter. But she was more than that. She was innocent. She was kind. She represented everything good about humanity. And they killed her for no reason, except that they thought we were weak. On the Velcrin homeworld, civilians watched. Many felt shame. They had cheered when their warriors conquered weak colonies. Now they understood the cost. "We did not want this war," Chen said. "We gave the galaxy 200 years of peace. We asked for nothing except to be left alone. But when you kill our children, you awaken something ancient in us, something we have tried to bury for generations." Her eyes grew hard. "Humans know war. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We have built weapons that can destroy entire planets. We nearly destroyed ourselves many times. When we joined the galaxy, we chose to put those weapons away. We chose to be better." She leaned forward. "But do not mistake our choice for weakness. We are not pacifists because we cannot fight. We are pacifists because we know the true cost of war. And when you force us to fight, you will learn what that cost means." On the Galactic Council Station, every ambassador watched in silence. They finally understood. Humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were violent, but because they chose not to be. "The Velcrin Empire will face justice," Chen announced. "But we will not commit genocide. We will not destroy their world. We are better than that." She outlined the terms. First, the Velcrin Empire is dissolved. Their military is disbanded. Their weapons are destroyed. Drask, watching from his command ship, closed his eyes. His empire was finished. Second, Velcrin warriors who participated in attacks on civilian colonies will face trial. They will serve 20 years of community service, helping to rebuild what they destroyed. On Velcrin Prime, soldiers looked at each other. 20 years of service. It was harsh, but it was not death. It was mercy. Third, the Velcrin Emperor must personally travel to Colony Aurora. 7. He will apologize to Maya's father, David Chun, in person. He will kneel before the grave of the girl his warriors killed. The Velcrin Emperor, watching from his palace, felt tears in his eyes. He would have to face the father of the girl, face the consequences of his empire's actions. Fourth, every Velcrin child will learn about Maya Chun. Her story will be taught in their schools. They will learn what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. They will learn that every life has value. Elder Morth, watching from the council chamber, nodded slowly. The humans were wise. They were teaching a lesson, not just punishing. "These are our terms," Chen said. "The Velcrin Empire has accepted them. Justice has been served." She paused, then addressed the entire galaxy. "To all other civilizations watching this, we are returning our fleet to deep space. We do not want to rule you. We do not want to conquer you. We want the same thing we have always wanted. Peace." Her voice grew stronger. "But understand this. Our fleet will remain ready, hidden, watching. If any race harms a human civilian again, we will return. And next time, there will be no mercy, no negotiations, no second chances." The transmission ended. Silence fell across the galaxy. Every alien leader understood the message. The humans had shown their strength, and they had shown their mercy. But they had also shown that their patience had limits. On Colony Aurora, 7, David Chen stood at his daughter's grave. He had planted a tree there, a small tree with white flowers. Every day, he came here to talk to her. Today, he received a message from Admiral Chun, his sister. "David, it's done. The Velcrons have surrendered. Justice has been served. Maya's death will never be forgotten. I'm sorry I couldn't save her, but I promise you, no one will forget her name." David read the message with tears in his eyes. He knelt by the tree and touched the ground. "Did you hear that, Maya?" he whispered. "The whole galaxy knows your name now. They will never forget you." Around the galaxy, something remarkable happened. On human colonies everywhere, People planted trees. Trees with white flowers. Trees for Maya. Within a week, there were 300 trees, one for each human colony. They called them Maya's trees. A reminder, a memorial, a warning. Alien diplomats visited these colonies. They saw the trees. They heard the story. And they understood. The Galactic Council held a special session. Elder Morth addressed them. "Today, we learned an important lesson," he said. "We learned that the quietest voice in the room might be the strongest. We learned that peace is not weakness. It is a choice. And humans made that choice for 200 years. Ambassador Thex spoke up. What do we do now? How do we treat humans?" "With respect," Morth replied. "With the respect they always deserved. They could have conquered us today. They had the power. But they chose justice instead. They chose to be better than their enemies." The council voted. From that day forward, human colonies would be protected by galactic law. Anyone who harmed a human civilian would face immediate council action. It was the least they could do. 6 months later, the Velcrin Emperor traveled to Aurora 7. He came alone without guards. He wore simple clothes, not royal robes. He was no longer an emperor, just a person seeking forgiveness. David Chin met him at Maya's tree. The emperor knelt before the grave. "I am sorry," the emperor said, his voice breaking. "My warriors killed your daughter. I cannot undo that. I can only ask for your forgiveness, though I do not deserve it." David looked at him. He felt anger, but he also felt sadness. This old alien looked broken. His empire was gone. His pride was shattered. "My daughter believed in kindness," David said quietly. "She believed every life had value, even yours, even your people. If she were here, she would forgive you." The emperor wept. "Thank you. I will carry this shame until I die, and I will make sure my people never forget." He placed a stone at the base of the tree. On it was carved a message in both Velcrin and human languages. "Here lies Maya Chun. May her kindness teach us. May her death remind us. May her memory guide us toward peace." In deep space, the human armada returned to the void. 5,000 warships disappeared into the darkness once more, going back to sleep, back to waiting, back to hoping they would never be needed again. On the flagship, Admiral Chin stood at the window, looking out at the stars. Captain Miller approached. "Admiral, all ships report ready for long-term station keeping. We're going back to the shadows." "Good," Chin said softly. "Do you think we'll ever be needed again?" Miller asked. Chin was quiet for a moment. "I hope not, James. I truly hope not. But humans have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Will the galaxy remember what happened here?" "Yes." Chin nodded. "They will remember. They will remember Maya. They will remember that we chose mercy when we could have chosen revenge. And they will remember that we are always watching." The fleet powered down. Lights dimmed. Engines cooled. The ships became invisible once more, hiding in the vast emptiness of space. But they were there, always there, ready, waiting. The galaxy continued. Trade routes reopened. Peace returned. But it was a different kind of peace now, a respectful peace. The aliens understood that humans were not weak farmers. They were sleeping giants. And sleeping giants should never be disturbed. Years passed. Children grew up hearing the story of Maya Chun, both human and alien children. They learned the same lesson. Violence has consequences. Peace is a choice. And kindness is not weakness. On Aurora 7, Maya's tree grew tall and strong. White flowers bloomed every spring. People came from across the galaxy to see it, to remember, to reflect. David Chin grew old. On his last day, he sat under the tree one final time. "I'll see you soon, Maya," he whispered. "The galaxy is better now because of you. You changed everything." And he was right. One girl's death had changed the entire galaxy, not through conquest, not through revenge, but through the simple truth that every life matters. Every child is precious, and those who protect the innocent are the true strength of civilization. The human fleet remained in the void, watching, waiting, hoping never to be needed again. But if they were needed, they would come. They would always come. Because that is what humans do. They choose peace, but they protect their children. And the galaxy would never forget that lesson. 5 years had passed since the Velcrin War. The galaxy had changed in ways no one expected. On Earth, in the command center deep beneath the surface, Fleet Admiral Chin sat in her office. She was older now, her hair completely gray, but her eyes were still sharp. A young officer entered. "Admiral, we have a situation." Chin looked up from her reports. "What kind of situation?" "It's the Zephyron Empire, ma'am. They're attacking the Aquarian water worlds. Civilian targets. The Aquarians are asking for help." Chin stood up quickly. "The Zephyrons? Why would they attack civilians? That makes no sense. Our intelligence says the Zephyrons want the Aquarian water resources. They're threatening to poison the oceans if the Aquarians don't surrender." Chun felt anger rising. After what happened with the Velcrons, she thought the galaxy had learned its lesson, but some species never learned. "Has the Galactic Council responded?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am. They held a meeting. But the Zephyrons are powerful. Most council members are too afraid to act." Chin shook her head. "Of course they are. Send a message to the Void Fleet. Tell them to prepare for deployment." "Yes, Admiral. Should we send the full fleet?" "No," Chin said. "Send only 100 ships. That should be enough." The young officer looked surprised. "Only 100, ma'am? The Zephyrons have over 800 warships." Chin smiled slightly. "Trust me, 100 is enough." In the Aquarian water world of Tethys Prime, the situation was desperate. Zephyron warships surrounded the planet. They had already poisoned 2 oceans. Millions of Aquarian fish people were dying. Ambassador Kelna was the Aquarian leader. She sent emergency messages to everyone, to the Council, to her allies, but no one came to help. Everyone was afraid of the Zephyrons. Then she remembered the humans. 5 years ago, they had shown the galaxy their power. Maybe they would help now. She sent a message to Earth. "Please, humans, we are dying. Our children are dying. The Zephyrons are killing us like the Velcrons killed your people. Please help us." On Earth, Admiral Chun received the message. She read it 3 times. The words were familiar, too familiar. It was the same kind of attack, the same kind of cruelty. She pressed a button on her desk. "Open a channel to the Void Fleet." In deep space, inside the flagship Retribution, Captain Miller received the call. He was older now, too. He had been commanding the Void Fleet for 5 years, waiting for this moment. "Captain Miller," Chen's voice came through. "We have a situation. The Zephyrons are attacking Aquarian civilians. I'm activating Guardian Protocol." Miller sat up straight. Guardian Protocol. They had created it after the Velcrin War. It was a promise, a commitment. If any species attacked innocent civilians, humanity would respond, not for conquest, not for revenge, but to protect the weak. "Understood, Admiral," Miller said. "How many ships should I deploy?" 100 ships. That's all we need." "Just 100? Miller smiled. "Sending a message, are we?" "Exactly. Show them we don't need our full fleet to stop bullies." Miller turned to his crew. "Wake up, Battle Group 7. We're going to Tethys Prime. It's time to remind the galaxy what happens when you hurt the innocent." The Zephyron Emperor was named Scrath. He was a tall bird-like creature with golden feathers and sharp talons. He stood in his throne room, celebrating his victory. "The Aquarians are weak," he announced his court. "Soon, their water world will belong to us. And the Council does nothing. The galaxy is ours for the taking." His advisors cheered. The Zephyrons had watched humanity defeat the Velcrons 5 years ago, but they thought it was a one-time event. They thought humans would only protect themselves. They were wrong. "Your Majesty," his military commander said, "we're detecting ships approaching from deep space." "What ships? Aquarian reinforcements?" "No, sir. The signatures match human vessels." The throne room went silent. Scrath felt his feathers ruffle with nervousness. "How many ships?" 100, Your Majesty." Scrath relaxed a little. Only 100? We have 800 ships. Why should I fear 100 human ships? An old Zephron advisor spoke up. Your Majesty, remember what happened to the Velkrons. The humans destroyed 150 Velkron ships with only 50 human vessels. That was 5 years ago. Scrath said dismissively. Maybe the stories were exaggerated. Maybe the Velkrons were just weak. But deep inside, he felt fear growing. The human fleet arrived at Tethys Prime within hours. 100 warships emerged from hyperspace. They were smaller than the Void Fleet's main battleships, but still impressive. Captain Miller stood on the bridge of his ship, the Guardian. He looked at the Zephron fleet, surrounding the planet. 800 ships, all armed, all dangerous. Open a channel to the Zephron fleet, he ordered. Let's give them one chance. Miller's face appeared on every Zephron screen, on every ship, even on the Emperor's throne room display. Attention, Zephron Empire. This is Captain James Miller of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are attacking innocent civilians. You are poisoning their oceans. You are killing their children. On his throne, Emperor Scrath watched nervously. We are invoking Guardian Protocol, Miller continued. This protocol states that humanity will protect any innocent civilians under attack in this galaxy. We don't care how powerful you are. We don't care how many ships you have. You will stop this attack immediately. Scrath stood up. He tried to sound brave. Captain Miller, you have 100 ships. We have 800. Leave now or we will destroy you. Miller smiled. It was not a kind smile. Emperor Scrath, let me tell you something about humans. 5 years ago, we used our large warships to fight the Velkrons. Today, you face our smaller ships, our patrol vessels, our scouts. Scrath frowned. So what? So, these small ships are more powerful than the battleships we use against the Velkrons. We've been improving our technology for 5 years. What you see now is just 1% of our true strength. The Zephron Emperor felt his confidence crumbling. You have 1 hour, Miller said. Withdraw your fleet. Stop poisoning the oceans, or face the consequences. The transmission ended. In the throne room, Scrath's advisors were panicking. Your Majesty, we should withdraw. They destroyed the Velkrons in 3 days. Our weapons won't work against them. But Scrath's pride was too strong. He had announced his conquest to the entire galaxy. He couldn't back down now. It would make him look weak. We fight, he declared. We have 800 ships. Surely that's enough. It wasn't. 1 hour later, the Zephron fleet attacked. 800 ships fired their weapons at the 100 human vessels. The space around Tethys Prime lit up with weapons fire. But just like 5 years ago, the human shields held. Every shot bounced off. Every missile was deflected. Then the humans fired back. And the Zephrons learned the same lesson the Velkrons had learned. Human weapons had improved. Rail guns now fired twice as fast. Plasma cannons were 3 times more powerful. New quantum weapons could disable entire ships without destroying them. Within 20 minutes, 300 Zephron ships were disabled, their weapons offline, their engines dead, floating helplessly in space. The remaining 500 ships tried to run, but human ships were faster. They caught up easily and disabled them too. Not a single Zephron ship was destroyed. Not a single Zephron died. The humans had simply taken away their ability to fight. Captain Miller sent another message. Emperor Scrath, your fleet is defeated. But we did not kill anyone. We could have, but we chose mercy. Now you will face justice. On his throne, Scrath collapsed. His empire's entire fleet was disabled, and the humans had done it without even trying. Withdraw the poison from the oceans, Miller ordered. You have 12 hours. If you don't, we will do it for you. And then we will take you to stand trial before the Aquarians. Scrath had no choice. He ordered his ships to clean the oceans, to undo the damage. It took 3 days, but they did it. The Aquarians were saved. Ambassador Kelna sent a message to Earth, her voice filled with tears of joy. Thank you, humans. You saved us when no one else would. You are truly the guardians of this galaxy. But Admiral Chun didn't want that title. She sent a reply. We are not guardians. We are just neighbors who believe in protecting the innocent. Any civilization should do the same. The Galactic Council held another emergency meeting. This time, Elder Morris spoke with authority. The humans have shown us something important. They don't want to rule us. They don't want to conquer us. They simply want peace. But they will protect the weak. They will stop bullies. Ambassador Thex nodded. What should we do? We should do what the humans are doing. Morris said, we should create our own guardian protocol. Every strong civilization should protect the weak. That's what civilization means. The council voted. For the first time in galactic history, they created a law that required strong empires to protect weak ones. Any attack on civilians would be met with immediate response. It was called the Maya Accords, named after the girl whose death had changed everything. Back on Aurora 7, David Chen's son visited Maya's tree. He was now 30 years old. He had children of his own. Dad told me about Aunt Maya, he said to his daughter, a little girl of 6 years old. She was brave. She was kind. And because of her, the whole galaxy learned to be better. The little girl touched the tree. Will bad people hurt us again, Papa? He smiled and picked her up. Maybe someday. But if they do, our fleet will come. The humans in the void will always protect us. That's their promise. Why do they protect us? Because we're all family. Every human. Everywhere. And family protects family. In the void, Captain Miller prepared his fleet to return to deep space. The mission was complete. The Aquarians were safe. The Zephrons had learned their lesson. He received a final message from Admiral Chun. Good work, James. Come home. Home meant the darkness, the emptiness, the waiting. But Miller didn't mind. This was his duty, his purpose. As the fleet disappeared back into deep space, he thought about the future. Would they be needed again? Probably. The galaxy had many empires, many bullies, many who thought might made right. But now they knew the truth. Humans were watching. Humans were ready. And humans would always protect the innocent. The Guardian Protocol was active. The Void Fleet was waiting. And the galaxy was safer because of it. Maya's legacy lived on. Not in conquest, not in fear, but in protection, in justice, in the simple truth that every life matters. And that was worth fighting for.